Shalom, call Allah Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations to all my fellow laborers, doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. To the scattered hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth, and those among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations, pursuant to Jeremiah 12:9, known as the speckled birds. This is not a black thing. I am the disciple of Parium, a follower of Great Millstone, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity. So this lesson is going to be titled Well-Kept Monuments of Failure. Now what you see below is Pastor Robert Jeffress of First Baptist, Dallas, Texas. All right, so last Friday we were coming out on highways and byways, bringing out the word, and lo and behold, there's a huge fire a couple blocks away from us, from right down the street where we teach at. And this is kind of a land back on Elder Yashawamba's video from GMS Dallas. Just kind of just talking about this topic right here. Again, this is the so-called apostle of Donald Trump. Just jokingly, but I found this picture, so I thought it was hilarious. From shout out to Texas Monthly. But yeah, so this is these churches. They're well-kept monuments of failure. Exactly what it is. This guy has gone out there and told his congregation to go ahead and get the Capri Sun, so to say. And he touts himself as the main pastor for Trump, and goes out and gets a lot of money for does whatever he does, right? But I don't want to say too much on that. But I just want to go into that word monument and the etymology. And I'll go ahead and read it. And it says a sepulcher, a grave, tomb, monument, right? Directly from the Latin monumentum. See, it's structure, statue, votive. You get the point, right? But that word tomb, we were all in these well-kept monuments of failure in these churches, right? We were all in a dead estate amongst the congregation of the dead. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get our first epistle, the book of Acts, chapter 7 and verse 48. That church really, that was a huge fire. If anybody in that congregation, man, you need to get the hell away. It's wicked. A lot of these churches. But anyways, Acts 7:48, it says, "Howbeit that the Most High dwelleth not in the temples made with hands, as saith the prophet." Okay, so yeah, it says, "Where two or three shall gather, I am amongst the midst." This is two or three should gather in my name. So like I am amongst the midst. Roughly paraphrasing, but this is the scripture is kind of going back into 1 Kings 8:27, where Solomon is a prayer of dedication. So let's go ahead and get that real quick. 1 Kings 8, verse 27. "But will Yahweh indeed dwell on the earth? Behold, the earth and heaven of heavens cannot contain thee. How much less this house that I have built it." All right. And that's going to Solomon after he had finished the temple for his father, King David. Because David couldn't build it because his hands, had shed blood. So let's go to the book of, going back to Acts. In the 7th chapter, we're going to go jump down to verse 51. And this is, the spirit of the so-called Christians that come in, all right? It says, ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Holy Spirit. As your fathers did, so do ye. Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? All right. And they have slain them which showed before of the coming of the just one. And this is speaking of, Salaki, these current Jakes that are in these Christian churches. It's not everybody, right? Because it's really speaking about the ones who slew the prophets in the olden days, right? Of whom ye have been now the betrayers and murderers. So we'll go to 2 Chronicles 36, verse 16. 36. And verse 16. But they mocked the messengers of Yahweh and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua arose against his people till there was no remedy. And then here in the NLT it reads, right there it says, they scoffed at the prophets until the Lord's anger could no longer be restrained and nothing could be done. So I want to read Jeremiah 28 and 8. And the reason why I'm going to read this is, this is regarding an order that was put out by the apostles to Har, to amongst the congregation, to daily, put up curses on Babylon, to keep in prayer. And this is why we put up these curses, right? Because this is what the prophets of old were doing. You don't believe me? About to read it. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. If you don't understand, let's go to the right, read the NLT. Let it sink in. The ancient prophets who preceded you and me spoke against many nations, always warning of war, disaster, and disease. These things were bound to happen. They spoke against these things, right? Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 35, verses 2 through 4. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. All right, Mount Seir was in Idumea or Edom, right? And prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord power. Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. This is one of the things we always bring out. We always prophesy against Mount Seir, against, this great whore. So this is I want to go to Luke 12, verse 49. It's a prelude for Babylon right here, okay? Nope. Skipped it. Hold on. It's lacking. The first destruction was, via water. The second one's to be by fire. It's not going to be, the earth is not going to be, completely destroyed. Babylon will cease to exist. There won't be anyone inhabiting it. But this is I want to go ahead and read this right here. This is red letter. This is Yahweh Shai speaking. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? All right. And you read that in NLT, it says, and I wish it were already burning. So, he's not coming meek and humble as a lamb. He already did that. All right. This is the second coming. So now I want to go to Deuteronomy 17. This is again going into this is instructions concerning a king, what they do when they get into the land, and then essentially, we're not to partake in their ways and their politics, because we are a holy chosen people, separate Kodash. You know, we're not essentially, we don't have our lands and our promises yet, but we are not to partake at the same time. So let's go to Deuteronomy 17. I want to read verse 14 to 15 Slaki in the NLT. You see guidelines for a king, and it reads, "You are about to enter the land the Lord Yahweh, your power, is giving you. When you take it over and settle there, you may think we should select a king to rule over us, like the other nations around us. But if that happens, be sure to select a king, the man, the Lord Yahweh, your power, chooses. You must appoint a fellow Israelite. He may not be a foreigner." All right, we're in the land of our captivity, and this is confusion. And again, the Edomites are appointing other Edomites. These are different people that are over us. May as well be, Cyrus or whoever it was, in whatever captivity that we were prior. All right. So now I want to go ahead, Slaki, get the book of, you know what? I want to read this in the NLT, but I want to still pull it up. The book of Sirach 11 and verse 9. Let me read this in the GNT. It's like my computer's over here acting up. Okay, so Sirach 11 and 9, the GNT. You can read along right there in the KJV. It says, "Don't get into an argument over something that is none of your business. All right, don't take part in decisions that are being made by sinners." So, we shouldn't be in these arguments. We should be, peaceable when possible, as Apostle Paul said. But don't get engaged into these things. All right. And as you can see right there, Pastor Jeffers and leading his congregation astray, he got that business from the Most High. So, with that, I want to say Kwam Yasharallah. Pray this lesson was edifying. On to the next. Shalom.